how do we go from this to this? That's coming up next. All right, it's time to arrange this piano reduction, and I have some ideas about what I want to try. I definitely hear brass and strings, so I'm gonna start moving notes around into different instrument families, see how far we get. I'm gonna spend like an hour, and I'll check in with you when we get to that point, and we'll see how far we've gone, hopefully somewhere. I haven't used the sample library yet, but it seems like it could be something worth checking out. It's this cool library where these guys took impulse responses at a bunch of locations in Pripyat, the town near where their Chernobyl nuclear disaster happened. So they've got this cool modeling thing going on where they can simulate age on the piano and put in these spaces. It's got this really ghostly, eerie kind of character to it that might fit in this scene. You want to go with a bass? Maybe a solo cello or something could be cool. Ooh, I like that. That's not gonna fly. Ooh, that's cool.
A few hours later.
Another day of arranging. Yesterday was kind of a wash. I spent too much time trying to fix an articulation issue with the Spitfire instrument, so today is gonna be much better. Breaking my own rule.
Open it.
Did I do harmonica? Please don't fucking freeze. No!
Several days later.
So as you can tell from my haircut and likely a slightly different shirt than the one I was wearing before, it's been a bit. But that's okay. Arrangement is always, for me, one of the most challenging things. There's a lot of experimentation that happens in terms of taking these parts that were drafted in the piano reduction and trying them out in different instrument families, combining them in instrument families. Sometimes I create brand new instruments or design synths that have to go with this stuff, and that just all takes time. And with time, ideas get a chance to settle. You get a chance to dwell on them, see if they actually resonate with the images that we're working against. So nothing wrong with taking time to do an arrangement as long as you have time and are not pushing up against a deadline. But we have an arrangement. We'll move through this section by section. I will point out things that I think are musically important and that I hope are coming across, but you'll be the judge. Starting with the introduction. That's the intro in a nutshell, and there's not a ton going on here. I'll zoom in. So we've got our main piano figure, which is playing the mystery motif is how I'm going to refer to it. It's a melody statement that's meant to create a sense of wonder, a sense of mystery, which it does through this device of a minor 9 interval pretty liberally, which is a very uncomfortable harmony tension that people usually avoid, but I'm playing into it right here. So the piano is actually doubled by a harp. The point of that is just to add a slight sharper attack. The Pripyat piano has a great aesthetic, but it's a very soft attack piano. So in order to get the melody to really speak, I wanted to layer it with something that would give it more of an attack. Beyond that, you've got some strings down here just doing some pretty simple crescendo, decrescendo, tremolo stuff. Last but not least, down here, you've got all this textural stuff, which is being provided by my own instrument. Here's the rubs. Download link in the description. It's a free instrument I released a few weeks ago, but it's just adding some weight and some atmosphere. And then we enter the first real harmonic section, which is, I'm calling section A. I'll play through it.
Shall I open it, Mr. Howard?
Here we have not a true melody yet, but this is just more harmonic context. We're just painting the picture of what the harmony for this majority of the cue is ultimately going to be. I've layered the Pripyat piano with a traditional upright piano, and I did that because when we see this moment when the nameplate is revealed and we get the emotional weight of seeing his wife's name and then his daughter's name, I wanted that to have more of a focused pitch than what Pripyat piano has baked in. So that's why the pianos are layered there. It's very subtle. And then in support of that, you've got, your string section. Really leaning into things like suspensions and extensions. So it's a very complicated harmony. We don't know how we're supposed to feel yet, and so I wanted that to resonate through the strings. One other element that you may not necessarily hear is this synth melody accent, which is just a simple synth that's accenting the notes in the pianos. But the effect for me is kind of like, in context, it sounds a little bit like a choir, the quality of this synthesizer. But it's very subtle. So let me just add the pianos and you'll see what I'm talking about. It just adds a nice little tail that would normally be there and a little bit of grit in the upper register. And then we get to a section where I do exactly what I said I wasn't going to do.
Open it.
Do me a favor, if you're getting something out of this video, go ahead, hit like, consider subscribing, leave a comment. It really helps to push the channel and helps me keep going. Thanks. Okay, so we have acoustic guitar with a soulful trumpet melody. Very cliche Western, spaghetti Western sound. I decided I'm having fun, whatever, I'm going to do it. And the way that I'm selling it for myself is that the harmony and the melody are not very traditional. It's much more contemporary, almost pop harmonic setting and a pop melody. So I don't mind a nod to tradition. Here in the trumpet, we get our character's main melody. At least that's how I'm considering it. This is our guy's melody. This hopeful, kind of reaching upward motion, building on that sense of hope that I imagine he still has at this point before his dreams are dashed. There's a very simple counter melody in this piano instrument. So there's a little bit of contrary motion. It gives like a nice little weaving in and out with the trumpet. And the guitar is really just there to give us our harmonic bed, our harmonic context. All right, moving on. the last part of the A section, we've drawn ourselves in, focusing on the hope the character's feeling. He's going to allow himself to hope even more. And the full band's going to come in support of that. All right, so we get our full statement of our melody this time. First thing we hear is our soaring melody from upper winds and strings. They are joined by some brass support. So tubas, horns, trombones, they're laying down some harmony for our strings to sit on top of. And then there's some percussion, which is helping to add some accent to these big gestures. Harp is also serving to bring in some brightness. And then the second half of this melodic statement, the low strings and low brass kind of take over with this echo of the original melody. It's paced tempo-wise faster. It's subdivided a little bit faster. Then for the second half of the melody, the flute and violin one jump up an octave just to add a little more emotion, a little more pull. And that's it. That's section A. Now there's a decided shift in tonality.
What a shame. You bet on hope, Mr. Howard. And you lost.
So this little bridge moment are these sinister figures that are provided by combination of tuba, bass, clarinet, contrabassoon, which I'm playing in a little bit to the Cliché for some of these instruments. They are usually used to communicate sinister characters, but it works. And I like this figure, this dyad that repeats 3 times. It moves a half step down each time, which is really great because the final note that the clarinet and bassoon end up on is G, which resolves beautifully into back to C minor, which is our home bass for this cue. This motive was actually, I found, going back and listening to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, a very similar figure was used in that score for similar type of effect, and I promise I subconsciously copied it, but there's nothing wrong with copying greatness. Then we move on to what will be our final section, which there's a lot going on, so let's just listen to it.
And you lost.
Hubert Howard, you have your warrant for arrest by the authority of the House Un-American Activities Committee.
Searching all this time.
To begin, strings bring us back in, playing an animated figure. Whereas before the strings were responsible mainly for melodic stuff, now they're forming much more of a harmonic function in this section. There's a lot of motion. There's that arpeggiating chord with the cellos and the violas rocking back and forth. Then you have these held notes in the violins that are just creating this nice kind of harmonic rub. And then here, our main melody is again carried by the trumpet. We get a return of the trumpet. And this figure repeats 3 times with slightly shifting harmony underneath it each time. As this flashback happens and his hope is withering away, the melody similarly is descending. Some cool stuff happening in the upper winds and the strings later on. So they're playing unison, they're playing different octaves, but really it's just, there's this very thick harmony that's happening throughout this section, and this is just to like add some interest poking through at times. Brass, what's happening in the brass? Horns and tuba are providing this really nice kind of swell in harmony every few beats. And I like these closed voicings in the horns because it's very pianistic and it feels like, I like the density. Makes it feel dark. Towards the end, you also start to hear these spiccato figures in the strings. So this combined with the percussive syncopated thing in the winds is this really cool push and pull. Let me just bring that in too. So it's this motion that otherwise you wouldn't hear because otherwise it just feels like there's these big static droning chords that are happening. But you, in moments of quiet when there's no melody or other information or parts happening that are dynamic, you start to hear those poke through, and I really like how that ended up sounding. In the violas, you can hear this, again, we've got a minor second, minor 9 interval, this really dark rub against the root note that's just a half step away, that now that our character is fully lost all hope, he has no evidence of his family, all we're left with is this dark, brooding, harmonic swell. And then we get the return of our original piano instrument in a higher octave, stating our mystery theme in the new key that we've modulated to in this final section. So that's it, we have an arrangement. Is it perfect? No. Is it ever gonna be perfect? No. But hopefully that helps illustrate why I made the choices I did, the function that some of these instruments are hopefully providing. And yeah, next time we meet, we're gonna do some quick mixing on this, which should actually be a little bit simpler than you might think, and we'll take a look at the final product and see where we ended up. All right, thanks for watching.